Think we're on.
All right, good morning.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Hi, you guys. Happy Saturday
Happy
to
Saturday,
you.
May 1st.
It's May 1st. I know. Happy May 1st.
All right, we made it to May.
I feel like it was just January. Like, how is it May?
I know, it goes so fast.
Like, what?
Oh, geez.
So we're glad you guys are here.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you,
and
guys.
Definitely let us know you're here in the chat. Say hi. Maybe what garden projects you've got going on this weekend.
You having coffee? You having tea?
Coffee or tea?
What's your favorite beverage this morning?
Right. Sean's coffee. Allison's tea.
Tea.
I like tea.
Yeah.
I don't mind coffee, but it's just tea's my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I usually
It's all good.
do. But
So,
yeah, what's going on, everybody?
good morning.
How are you? How was your week?
We're really happy to be here.
Sorry, we're still kind of waking up.
You know, we were discussing it before, and we were like, "Are we going to talk about this or not?" Well, Allison and I got our shots, our second Moderna shots on Wednesday, and it is no joke.
It's been kind of a blur the rest of this week.
It really knocked us out after about the first 6 hours or 12 hours, and so we're still recovering a little bit, but we're here.
I'm still feeling it today, Saturday, and that was on Wednesday.
Me too, a little bit too.
I feel a little. I'm just really happy to be here. We definitely want to move forward. Just talk about garden stuff.
We're excited to be here with you guys and have fun. And so if we are just a tiny bit off today, just a little bit, that might be why.
But we can always talk about plants and gardening and
however you're feeling, whatever mood you're in, you can always talk about plants.
I know, because we love plants.
That's right, we love plants.
And this week, today we're going to be talking about ornamental grasses. And this is kind of a fun topic that we haven't really dove into really in any of our videos. We've done a couple videos maybe about
a few
planting grasses and whatnot, but we've never talked about the different types.
No, and when we say types, we're talking basically about height. We're talking about, how big do they get? So there's other ways to look at these grasses for types, and people have called that out. There's a lot of articles out there that talk about types. In today's live, we're talking about types from the context of size. So there's going to be small, there's going to be medium, and there's going to be tall ones.
I know. So, it's fun to kind of categorize them that way because it made me think about them differently. Because next week's live, just to kind of let you know, we're going to be talking, it's kind of a part 2 of ornamental grasses, and we're going to be talking more about like uses and designing.
Yeah.
But this week's live really made me think about how do you design with grasses in the garden?
But
it's fun to think about.
It is, and you gotta take a step back even from the design though, and kind of look at what's out there, and look at the sizes, the colors. I mean, it goes into design, but it's a step back from what's really out there and what'll grow first in your area.
That's always the first question.
What are the plants' needs, and can you supply those needs to them? So that's where we're coming from today.
And of course, as always, since we're the plant enablers, we've got some beautiful, interesting ones to show you today. There's one that I'm already like, we got to go find this. I have to have this in our garden now. So maybe some of you will feel the same. I have a feeling that a lot of you will like and appreciate the same one that I've got my eye on today.
I have no doubt we will enable you out there that are watching today to go out and find some of these grasses, if not all of them, and probably others too, that you'll want to add to your garden too after we're done talking today. So it's going to be great.
I think it'll be a fun conversation. So definitely please chime in the chat, or if you're watching the replay, thank you for watching first of all, and for being here, of course.
Totally.
Let us know in the comments if you're not watching live, just what are some of your favorite ornamental plants?
Yeah, and especially
grasses.
Yeah, totally. Do you like ornamental grasses? Have you had experience with them? Yeah, definitely let us know.
We would love to chat about that.
Yeah.
There's some really cool options.
Yeah.
So definitely let us know. Good morning to Connie Graham. Hi,
good morning,
thank
Connie.
you for being here.
Woohoo.
She says she has her coffee.
Yay,
So,
Team Coffee!
Team
Woohoo! Not exactly Team Sean, just Team Coffee.
No, that's fun. Good morning.
I don't self-identify with coffee.
I know that's true. I mean, I don't not like coffee, like I was saying. And he likes tea, but it's just my go-to. You know how you have that go-to drink in the morning. You guys, either coffee, it's tea, or whatever. Whatever it is, it's your thing in the morning, and mine is tea.
Yep.
For sure.
Definitely routine.
But
well, cool.
All right, you guys. Well, okay. So, like we said, we're going to talk about. We're talking about ornamental grasses. We'll get to that a little later, but we're going to start off with some questions from our audience members and viewers and amazing people,
Some fun stuff
all of you out
there.
there from YouTube. While Sean catches his breath here.
Wrong pipe.
So we've got some good questions, kind of a range of like from deadheading to tools to all different kinds of things.
All sorts of garden stuff today.
Yeah, should we dive in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yay!
Yeah.
And again, good morning if you're just joining us. Definitely let us know if you're here in the chat. Okay, what do we have here? We have a question about pelargoniums.
Pelargoniums.
Better known as geraniums. We love geraniums.
Totally.
They're so beautiful. There's so many different colors.
Yeah, we've got a couple.
We have a lot, actually. No, probably as you do as well out there. So, okay, we have a question about a zonal geranium. Let's see. Okay, so I have here we go. I can't talk. Start over. I have a zonal geranium in red. That sounds pretty. I was plucking dead flowers and leaves from the pot and noticed that, okay, sorry, I'm trying to read Sean's handwriting. Notice that even the healthy leaves were plucking off easily too. Okay, so the dead leaves are plucking off and the healthy ones are coming off really easily. Is there something wrong with my plant?
It's a great question. This happens. This happens a lot. So first off, I want to tell this audience member, did we say her name?
I didn't. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I did not say the name. Aprigida jadea. Really sorry if I said that wrong.
Aprigida, first off, you're awesome for keeping your pelargonium geraniums clean. Keeping your plants clean, especially pelargoniums, is very important because culturally, you got to clean up after them. They drop things, they drop their leaves, their flowers, they wither and die. And if you don't clean them up, they can harbor different kinds of fungus and different kinds of pests and stuff. Excuse me. So you want to clean them up all the time. So good for you for doing that. Give yourself a pat on the back because not a lot of people do that. And then they wonder why, well, why did my plant have this disease and stuff? So like, well, you didn't clean up after it. So awesome. So now
that's good.
Let's talk about, and we got a pelargonium here.
Oh, we do.
I'm going to move this over.
You got it?
Yeah, I'll get right here. Okay, so we've got this pelargonium. This is a zonal, just like Aprigida has. And first off, you'll know that it's a zonal geranium because on all the leaves that it has, it's got this colored area, this zone on the leaf. It's a little bit darker and it goes all the way around the leaves. And so that's how you know this is a zonal geranium, one of. And so what's going on is usually what happens is these plants, they will lose their leaves. I mean, here's a couple. It's just, this was actually still attached. So I just took it off and you can just come in here and the ones that are withered and died, especially down inside the canopy or inside all the other leaves below, they will wither and they will die and they're still attached. You just come and you can kind of just pluck them off. Aprigida calls that out. She was plucking them off. And same with the spent blooms. You can do the same thing, but a little bit differently, and I'll show you that in a minute. So when you're coming in and doing that, it's really easy to do, and you can see there's one right here. Maybe. Yeah, right there. Okay, there you go.
What are we looking at there?
It's just a dead leaf.
Oh, dead leaf.
So I'm going to pull that out. And so it comes right out, right? Super easy. Well, if your green leaves, if your healthy leaves are doing the same thing, there's a couple things that could be going on. One of which is the plant might not be getting enough sun. And when, so what happens is this is a really good example. When you want to overwinter and have your geraniums go dormant, one thing you do is you give it less water. The other thing you do is you put it in total darkness. You want it to shut down and go dormant. And so with less light, it loses its perfectly green leaves. So they'll start to brown, they'll start to just drop off too. They'll just literally just come right off the plant. And so I think what's going on for you, Aprigida, is that your geranium possibly might not be getting enough sun. Now, in general, you want to give these guys at least 6 hours or more of direct sunlight. So if you can do that, that'll be great. The other thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you're watering it regularly and not overwatering or underwatering it. And so a good way to do that is to go up and check your geranium soil. And what you do is just check it. I don't know if you can, maybe, can we see that? It's hard. So just check the soil. If you can't see that, that's okay. But basically I'm touching the soil right now with my finger and I'm feeling for any moisture. There's moisture in this. It feels light though. The whole pot feels light, and sometimes you can check if a plant needs water just by checking how heavy the pot is maybe. Well, definitely do that if you want, but also take your finger and just touch the top of the soil, and if it's dry, Okay, that's good for a geranium, because what you want to do is you want to make sure that the soil actually dries a little bit between each watering, because geraniums don't like things wet. They will rot very fast if you keep the soil wet all the time. Let the soil dry out a little bit between waterings, and this will help your geraniums thrive. And this could possibly also be what's leading to what you're seeing at Brigida as the leaves falling off. So kind of a double whammy there. Make sure it's getting enough light, enough direct sunlight, at least 6+ hours or more, and make sure to keep up on that watering schedule of letting the soil dry between waterings. And you should be good. There's a couple other things, but if that doesn't work, email us at SeanandAllison@spokengarden.com, and we can talk about it more and see what else is going on.
Yeah, that's really, of course, you guys probably know this is driving me crazy. Like, Sean brought this up, and I was like, well, these just look awful. But look how beautiful this color is. We are just loving this bright pink. So, you know, deadheading.
So, and also, I want to show you too, there's this guy right here. If you can see that. That's an old bloom, and it's on a stalk. This is what Brigida was talking about. She was coming in, and she was just literally taking her finger, just getting a hold of it with her pointer finger and her thumb, and just literally pulling that off. It just came right off. I just did it right there. So, you know, real easy to do, doesn't hurt the plant. They're kind of built that way to do that. So yeah, that old bloom is bothering Allison.
The other one has too, but I want to see the color. So we're going to just leave it.
Yeah, guys. So hopefully, Brigida, that helped you. Let us know again if you need any more help.
Okay.
So, cool.
Okay.
So that was a good one.
So that is a really good question. And, you know, geraniums are everywhere. They're so highly sold this time of year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they were out in early April in our area. And probably your area, too.
We got some of ours at Costco.
We did get some at Costco just because it's kind of a impulse buy.
Oh yeah, it's right there at the front
door. They put them right at the front in Costco. You know, they have this huge display of beautiful colors.
Oh yeah, yeah. Are we have anybody else?
Good morning to Ryan Trujillo.
Good morning,
thank you
Ryan.
for joining us.
Woo-hoo.
And I'm noticing our video is a little bit.
We're out of focus. Just a minute.
This kind of seems
We're going to bring
happen
back
when
into focus. I tried to think of a pun right there, but I couldn't. So Allison doesn't like when I do my pun jokes.
No, let's not leave. Yeah. Don't worry, I'm back in time.
She saved you all.
We're going to work on that with the camera, because that's happened the last couple of weeks, where whenever we show a plant, then we're kind of out of focus.
Yeah.
So
we're back in focus.
We're back, and we're going to make it better. So, okay, guys, moving on. We've got a question about a grape hyacinth. And this is an awesome question that I think could really help a lot of people out there. So, Jillian Rochelle.
Thank you, Jillian.
Or it might be Rachel, sorry. So the question is about any advice on growing grape hyacinth indoors in an apartment. So this viewer has, I believe, if I remember the comment, it was a really cool comment. She grabbed some grape hyacinth from her grandma, I think, and unfortunately, or not unfortunately, but has it in an apartment, doesn't have room to grow it outside. So wants to know what tips we have to kind of keep it thriving and beautiful.
Yeah, and it's great. Yeah, I know, it's really cool.
It is cool.
We don't think of it like that because grape hyacinth, we have ours outside, but we could do inside too if we wanted to. But
that'd be pretty.
To grab it from outside and bring it inside, perfectly cool, nothing wrong with that. It's great to have these types of plants, especially grape hyacinth, indoors because they're so easy to care for.
They
oh my
really
God.
are.
And so we've got some over here too that we brought in from outside today. Here we go. Yep, so here's one of our grape hyacinth pots from outside. This could very easily be brought inside if we wanted to, and if we had room for it in a window for it to
Which we don't.
to be at, but we don't. We don't have an open space for it. But so here's grape hyacinth. These are beautiful bulbs. They're spring flowering bulbs, fall planted. If they're zoned for your area. Now I think they are zoned. I wrote it down here just to make sure. Yeah, zones
3 to 9.
3 to 9. Yeah. So I mean, it's got a great range of where it can be grown at.
Yeah.
So these are beautiful bulbs. They come up about mid-spring. Yeah, and they're known as grape hyacinth because all these little blooms, when they're not almost done blooming, look like, you know, full flowers of little grapes. I mean, they're just beautiful.
They're really cute.
So, so bringing them inside. What you need to think about is when you have them inside, you're meeting all their needs. Are they getting enough sun? Are they getting that full sun and enough of it? Are they getting enough water? Are they in the right soil? And so you need to think about these things. But the other thing you got to think about is for their normal growth cycle, these bulbs, like many spring flowering bulbs, they flower. They have their whole growth cycle of leaves coming up and their flowers coming up and they flower. And then what happens is the flowers wither as they're becoming done for the season, like these are. Soon these right here, as with many bulbs right now, they will wither and die. Excuse me. And you'll then come in and you can deadhead these and cut these back, but you can keep the green. And it's important to keep the green because you want the bulb to still photosynthesize after it's done with its biological reproductive cycle, so it can gather more nutrients, light energy down to the bulb, store it for next year, because these will come back whether you have them outside or inside. And so that's really important. You want to leave the green when you remove the dead flowers or the spent flowers. So thinking about all that, you need to also do this when they're inside, not just when you're growing them outside. You're growing them inside, this needs to happen. So what you can do is keep the green until they wither down to the ground, and then you can cut them and remove this withered green leaves. And then what you would need to do is store them. So what some people will do is they'll leave the green as long as it stays up and until it naturally just withers. Other people will come and cut it and force the plant. After about 2 to 3 weeks of the flowering being done, they'll come in and they'll just cut all the green leaves off and force the bulb to go dormant. So whether you force it to go dormant or you let it happen naturally, it will go dormant. And then what you need to do is store the bulbs. You need to store the Grape Hyacinth in a cool, dry, dark place. Now, in an apartment, that's not going to be that hard to do, like in a closet or something. So then what you'll do is you want to bring these out next year, right, and have them grow and flower again. But to do that, Grape Hyacinth they need a cold treatment. They need about 40 to 45 degrees Fahrenheit. Sorry for all you Celsius people out there. 40 to 45 degree Fahrenheit cold treatment for about 10 to 12 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so what happens is they get that cold treatment, whether they're outside or inside, and that helps them then, once they reach that 10 to 12 weeks of cold treatment, it stimulates them to then start thinking about growing again once the temperatures warm back up. But without that cold treatment, they're going to stay dormant because they've evolved that way to have that need to trigger them to then grow and flower. So if you're growing these inside, what you need to do is think about that cold treatment, and that's going to need to happen about 10 to 12 weeks prior to when you want them to come up and start flowering, which is about mid-spring. So they're going to need 10 to 12 weeks of that cold treatment of 40 to 45 degrees. So what you're going to need to do basically is take your Grape Hyacinths, whether you've dug them out of the pot from being inside or left them in the pot and let the soil dry over that whole the rest of the season until they can come back out. You'll need to put them in a refrigerator.
That's what I was wondering. Is it refrigerator, freezer? I mean, probably not freezer.
Not freezer.
That would be too cold.
That would be too cold.
Okay.
Yeah. But zone 3 will go down really far down.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Into negative territory for temperatures, Fahrenheit-wise. So that could work if you don't have a refrigerator or space in your refrigerator to put them in. But again, your refrigerator, most refrigerators don't go down to 40 degrees, I don't think. I think they kind of keep them about 45 to 50. I mean, it depends on you, and it depends on the food you want to keep in there. So, but they're going to need that 40 to 45 degree cold treatment for 10 to 12 weeks. So keep that into account when you have these and you want to grow them inside and you want them to come back for next year. And so after that cold treatment, you bring them back out for the new year for them to grow in that spring, and then you plant them, water them a little bit, and then let them come up. And then once you start seeing that growth come up, then just keep regularly watering them, and they will come up with new leaves and flowers, and you can start the whole process over again.
Yeah, that's okay. So that's cool because you can grow them indoors. I mean, that'd be fun to try. We don't have the space personally to do that.
We don't have the window space.
That's awesome that you have. This is back Jillian's question about growing them in an apartment.
And that was from our Grape Hyacinth plant chat that we had. So that was fun. Yeah, thank you, Jillian, for asking.
I know, thank you. That was a really good response as well. And we have a question in the chat about Grape Hyacinth, but I want to say hi really quick from us to Jay Harrison. Good morning.
Jay.
Hi, Real Jingy.
Hey, Real Jingy.
And we
buddy.
have PJD just chimed in. So good morning to all of you.
PJD.
PJD. And
PJD.
the question
Hi, PJD.
is from PJ, can you leave them, and I'm assuming you mean grape hyacinth, can you leave them in their pots or in the ground until next year?
Yeah.
Yeah, great question, which is what we do.
Now, there's a caveat.
Yeah, exactly.
The caveat is you can leave them in the ground outside if they're zoned for your area. If you live in any of the USDA zones of between 3 and 9, then you should be golden. You should be good. You shouldn't have to dig them out or do anything to them. Just let them do their natural thing out in your garden. If you don't live in the zones 3 to 9, then you will need to dig them out of the ground after they're done doing their whole process, like I was telling you about before. And you'll need to store them in a dry, cool, dark place for the rest of the season. If you want them to come back, if you want to plant them back out the next season, the next spring for a spring flowering. So there's a little bit more information on that, but hopefully, PJ, you live in zones 3 to 9.
Yeah, then you can just leave them in the ground, which is, we're in zone 8B, so we're like, we leave them in the ground. We have them all over our front yard, backyard.
Yep.
We have them in the ground. We have them in pots, obviously, and we just love watching them come up every year. So that's nice.
Yeah, they're gorgeous.
It's very low maintenance too.
Okay, cool.
I'll just set that over there.
All right.
Hopefully we're in focus again.
Yeah. So Jillian, hopefully that helped. Thank you for asking a question.
Yeah, great. And PJ, thank you for your question.
Thank you,
as well.
PJ.
That's awesome. So we're getting a comment. So Jay Harrison, thank you. They're saying your mic is very low or it might not be on.
Oh, no.
So we're going to fix that. Thank you for the feedback. PJ is in zone 6B, so you should be all set with your grape hyacinth. No problem there. You should be able to just leave them in the ground. So yeah, you guys let us know. We're going to fix Sean's mic up and make sure it's a little...
Fix me.
We're going to fix him up. And,
so hopefully that helps.
Hopefully
I moved positions.
I think I was noticing that actually. I looked over at you and I saw it was kind of like off to the side. Your mic was kind of, you know.
Okay. Hopefully this is better.
I know.
How's that, guys? Is that a little bit better?
Hopefully, yeah. Let us know.
Hey, Dana's
here. Yeah, hi, good morning,
Hi, Dana. Good morning.
Okay, so hopefully our mics are better. So, okay, you guys, moving on. Hope you guys are, I'm so glad you guys are, a lot of people are kind of starting to join in and get,
thanks for being here.
Say hi in the chat. So, Jay Harrison says, much better.
Awesome. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you so much for that. Okay, so you guys, we have a question from, now last year we ran like every Saturday before we did these lives, which I'm so glad we changed to lives because this is just so much fun. But before that we did Garden Tool Saturday just because we thought that sounded fun.
Because we wanted to talk about garden tools.
We have lots of tools and we have, you know, we figured we want to talk about them.
Well,
so
it was important.
And it was important.
Yeah.
So we made a lot of videos about tools, and pruning shears came up a lot because we have a lot of different types of pruning shears. But we also kind of sort of partner with Corona, and they send us some things to try out. And
we have a really good friend over there at Corona, Chris Savarese, and he is an amazing guy. He sends us all sorts of stuff because he likes us and he likes our channel. So so thank you, Chris, by the way. Just want to put that plug out there. Thank you, Chris from Corona Tools, for always helping us out.
And that's why we're able to give as many as we can away to you guys. And we'll keep doing that, by the way. So anyway, so I just wanted to make sure we mentioned Chris and Corona Tools. I know, yay. So we're going to talk about, it was kind of more of a comment than a question, but from Austin J. on Garden Tool Saturday about pruning shears. So Austin says, I agree with you that the bypass shears are way better for repeated and clean cutting than the Anvil design. Now maybe we can talk about the difference between bypass and Anvil really quick.
Sure.
Now this is a model number, the BP 7100. Is that this one?
I believe
Sean knows the numbers. I don't know.
Oh, it's right on there. This isn't that specific one.
Let's see what we got here.
But it's really close.
Okay.
It's really close.
So we've got a similar model to the 7100, as they call it.
7100.
Okay, so the BP 7100 has the slimmest lower jaw I've seen, Austin says, and you can get it into tight spots to really hook it. For the loppers, though, Austin has the Felco 231 Anvil loppers, and I think those are really awesome.
Okay, yeah.
Which I have personally never tried those.
Those specific ones I haven't either, but I mean, so guys, if you're wondering, first off, hand shears, one of the most versatile tools I personally have ever been able to use out in the garden. These, actually, whenever I go out in the garden, I think Allison too.
Oh, they're always in my pocket.
They're in our pocket. We take them everywhere with us because we know we're going to end up using them either to prune, deadhead, Or there's other uses for these too, opening bags, cutting twine.
Lots of uses for these.
I mean, these guys, you know, any type of hand pruner like hand shears come in very handy almost every day out in the garden. So first off, just want to say that.
Yeah.
So now, should we talk about Anvil versus bypass?
Yeah, maybe that's I don't know, that's something maybe not everybody's familiar with. It was something that Sean had taught me. I didn't really know that there was that difference.
It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, if you're very new to gardening, you probably don't know. Even if you aren't new to gardening, you still might not know, because there's those two different kinds of cutting mechanisms, basically cutting types for hand shears and loppers. So basically, what we have here is these are Corona. These are super awesome. This is one of their more new models. But this is called a bypass pruner because when it closes, it uses a blade that comes down on a pin, and it pivots off this pin, and it comes down, and it comes to this hook, as Austin was calling it, but it comes down to this, and what it does is it bypasses past it, and it's a scissor motion. And if you think of scissors kind of bypass too, but this is what's referred to as a bypass pruner because it literally goes past this edge on this right here, and it comes down and it completes that cutting motion as it goes down to a point below this. So it's a bypass, goes past it.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So these are great pruners. These pruners give a very smooth, clean cut on almost everything that you cut, depending on how big it is, and you know
right,
how
up to
tough.
about what, an inch?
Yeah.
And a half,
Some of these, these are very. They depend on the size. But depending on how you use them and what good a shape they're in, they might not give you the cleanest cut, how sharp they are, but hopefully you keep yours nice and sharp. So they're designed to give a really clean cut. And so as Allison said, there's half-inch size pruners, meaning they'll cut up to ½ an inch in diameter of stem or branch. And then they go, you know, for Corona, they go ½ inch, they go 3/4 inch, and they'll go up to at least an inch. And so we have those in the garage. We don't have them up here with us today.
I know, I was just thinking.
So,
we don't have
but so there's specific pruners will cut up to a specific size. Now, saying that about bypass pruners, Anvil pruners, a little bit different. Still a cutting blade, but they don't have the curve like this does. And what they have is they have a straight edge, almost like you might think of a cleaver, let's say. If you use a cleaver type of
it reminds me of like a, it's like a chopping block.
It's basically, that's what I was going to say. It's a cleaver, straight edge blade coming down onto a chopping block. If you've ever used a cleaver on a chopping block, cutting, you know, onions or, you know, dicing up whatever, it's just like that. It's just it's straight down 90 degrees over and over and over again. And so they're great pruners to have or loppers to have, but what happens is when they come down, there's more of a crushing motion. They will cut through, but there's more stem damage, stem tissue damage when they make their cut if you're cutting on live tissue. A lot of people like to use the bypass pruners on live tissue because of the clean cuts, and a lot of people then also like to use the Anvil pruners on dead tissue when they're pruning. And so you can use both on either one if you want. There's no like set rule or law that you have to use one over the other for something specific. It kind of depends on your own style.
I know, it seems like a personal preference.
Totally.
We have had a lot of comments on these videos like, oh, I like Anvil, I like, bypass. Like, I mean, it definitely like depends on your probably your comfort level, what you've used for years.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Yeah, and so, but when you use the bypass pruners, there's less stem damage because, and I should have said this before, this is called the cradle. This is the blade, and this is your cradle, basically. And when you come in on a stem, here we'll use this right here that we cut off earlier. So when you let's say this is a plant stem, you're going to come in, you put that cradle right underneath it, and that's how you position these. Usually, at least that's how I do it. And then you want to get it all the way back as far as it'll go usually, because that'll give you the most cutting power. And then you just make sure to complete the cut. And you can see it's a nice clean cut. It's smooth. There's no jagged edges. And with these pruners, these types of pruners, the bypass, there's less stem tissue damage when you make that cut for a faster recovery by the plant with that living tissue. So, And so we only actually own one Anvil.
I know.
Pruner.
I was just thinking, we only have one.
That's
and
it.
I don't really use it.
All the other ones we have, they're all bypass.
But it makes me wonder, though, because it is, again, such a personal preference. So those of you watching, let us know in the chat if you prefer, or if you even know if you have the bypass or the Anvil.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, kind of what your favorite is.
Totally.
We can kind of chime in. And I know Ryan mentioned, and this maybe you know because, you know, I don't know the model numbers of all the Corona tools, but Ryan's favorite is Corona clippers, the AG4930.
Huh.
I'm wondering if we have those. We're going to have to go look, Ryan, and see if we have.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure what those are.
I don't know. But that's cool.
That's really
right
cool.
On. You know,
and
you
Ryan,
can identify that. That's awesome.
Ryan mentioned that they have really good tools for sure. And yeah, that one was his favorite.
100% agree.
So cool. Yeah.
Totally.
Now, these are new. You brought these up. This is a fun one. These have, I know you can explain this more, or better probably than I can.
Go ahead.
But these are they have this comfort gel kind of, it's like a memory foamy kind of stuff around your hands. It's kind of a jelly.
It's a lot more comfortable.
See, Sean explains this better.
Well, but it's just more comfortable.
It is kind of comfortable.
These kind of have that too, this pair right here, but it's not as comfortable as those.
And this is a different model of Corona pruning shears, and this is the. Do you remember the name of these specifically? It's like they have a dial on them. If you can see right in the middle here.
Yeah,
we've shown these on a video before.
But yeah.
But you can dial your strength, or your grip size. So like for me, I don't like my hand's not that wide, but I wouldn't like right now it's set to like about a 7 or an 8, and I believe it goes up. 8 is the highest. 1 would be. Let's see.
Mm-hmm. The higher the number,
yeah, go ahead.
The higher the number, the larger the opening is going to be for the blade, between the blade and the cradle, and the larger the cut you'll be able to make.
Yeah.
So what helps with that is how open, like your hand size, as Allison said, and how open you can have that, and the strength to actually get in there and to make that cut. And so it helps on a couple different levels when you're pruning out there. So this is a great tool.
This is a great tool for like, they call it like adaptive gardening, or any kind of like, if you have maybe arthritis problems or hand, kind of strength issues, I would highly recommend these type of pruners because you can definitely change the strength and the grip size. It's cool. These aren't my go-to, but they are very comfortable. I definitely prefer like these bypass pruners. So, like I said, they're always in my pocket.
Oh yeah, me too. My favorite's the 1-inch classic cut bypass pruners. So,
oh yeah, definitely. I would agree. Yeah. I agree. PJ said PJ has both kinds of pruners and likes the bypass.
Awesome.
So again, it's just a personal thing.
Go team bypass.
Team bypass. We're kind of partial to bypass.
Team coffee, team bypass.
I thought you guys would hear so much about pruning shears in the morning, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
cool.
I guess moving on, but please continue, letting us know if you want to chime in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're moving on to planting a tropical container for shade, which we did. We filmed a video a couple weeks ago where we have some beautiful plants that are shade or partial shade loving, and they're very tropical looking. So it turned out to be a really beautiful container.
It was. It's gorgeous, right?
I'm really pretty excited about it. But okay, so Andrea Greenhill asked a great question that we didn't explain in this video. What we did is I don't think we explained, did we?
I think we did. We had audio trouble.
Oh, we did. Yeah, I know. Go figure. Jeez, you guys. It's always the audio. Yes, you're right. I do remember that we did explain. Okay, so sorry. Let me get to the question. Why did you cut back the roots on your largest plant?
It's a great question. Yeah, it's a shame it didn't come up in the video, but it's okay.
Would have made a lot more sense.
It's a shame we had to cut it out. So
great
basically,
question.
Awesome question. The reason we had to cut, and it was on the acanthus. It's called an acanthus plant. Beautiful plant.
It's so beautiful. It has these huge leaves, you guys.
It looks literally tropical.
It
looks
oak
like
leaf acanthus.
Yeah, the oak leaf acanthus. Yeah, and it's just this huge leafed plant, and it grows 4 feet wide, 4 feet tall. We're at about probably 2.5 feet wide and maybe 2 feet tall.
But it's actually getting bigger since we planted it.
We planted
it
maybe not even a month ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason with all that, the reason I was in there and I was cutting those roots is because it had become a little bit root bound in the 5-gallon pot that it was in. It's a big plant, and so. I needed to, those roots had already gone around. They were pretty good size too. They're about as big around as my pinky. So for any potted plant with roots that big around, then they were super healthy. If you watch the video, the roots are nice and white. That means they're actively growing. And they were really they were stout. So, but those big roots were going around in the bottom of the circle. I had to cut those away. And first I teased them out, and then I cut them away because one, I needed to retrain. I needed the plant to retrain its roots. The other thing is we planted it in a self-watering container, and with self-watering containers, you think they look kind of big from the outside, but really there's not a lot of root growing space in them. There's a reservoir underneath that there's no soil that goes down in there. It's all for a capacity of water. So it looks big on the outside. On the inside, it's almost about half. At least this pot that we have, it was half of the capacity of the outside of the container for the root growth in the soil. So I had to cut those roots to make sure that the plant could fit down into that soil to then grow back out. So that's why I cut those roots. And it was perfectly fine. It had a lot of great roots up top and all over its root system to compensate and to continue to grow. And so it's not hurting the plant at all. And if we could, too bad we can't take them down and look at it right now. It looks awesome. It looks great. And maybe we'll do an update on that to show everybody. But yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun, that was a really fun video. And just, we're definitely, Sean and I are really excited about just kind of experimenting with some tropical looking plants this year, kind of adding those to our garden.
Because we don't live in a tropical zone.
We do not live in a tropical zone.
Not at all.
We live in the Pacific Northwest, so not tropical.
Yeah, but we have tropical looking plants, and so that was the whole concept of putting those plants together, finding them and putting them together in that pot to show that you can still have a tropical look in a non-tropical zone. So.
Well, and as some of you know, and I know Dana will know this, we're growing lots of elephant ears this year and caladiums, so it's fun to kind of see what you can get away with, and what it'll look like, and I'm really excited to see all this stuff in bloom.
Yeah, me too.
So coming up later this summer.
Hopefully that helped answer
that was Andrea's
question. Thank you, Andrea, for asking that.
Yeah, that was a great question.
Yeah.
So I think that's it for questions.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for all of those amazing questions. Keep them coming, by the way. We're not by any means done.
Love your questions.
We love them, and we wish we could get to all of them. I know we mentioned this last week, but it continues this week. We're kind of a little behind on YouTube comments right now, so we're working really hard to get caught up.
We really are. Almost every day we're trying to get on there and get that.
We're like a month behind some of our comments. So if we have not got to your comment yet, we are trying.
Sorry, guys.
We will get there, and we really appreciate them. Please keep them coming.
Yep.
So, okay, let's see. Delphina, good morning.
Hey, Delphina.
Thank you for being here.
Morning.
Delphina said she recently cut away roots when transplanting some pink muley grass. We're talking about that today.
Hey, don't get ahead of us.
And she said she thought she saw Sean do that. So she knows it'll be fine.
Good eye. Good eye.
Good job. I can't wait to hear more about that, Delphina.
Yeah.
That is my new favorite grass. I'll give the...
Yeah, we're going to talk about that
that's
in a
one
couple
coming
minutes. So.
I want to know more. Dana, and again, morning, Dana.
Morning, Dana.
Dana was wondering if we're going to keep our elephant ear bulbs in the containers or planting them out. So good question.
Really good question.
We kind of like, we do have a plan. Okay, so basically we started half of them indoors in a container, and we're definitely going to move those out into the landscape. We plan on putting those in the ground.
Totally.
We might keep a couple in containers. I guess that part of the plan we haven't decided yet.
We'll see.
What do you think?
We'll see.
Talk about
I don't know. Even the smaller elephant ears that we planted, it was a big stretch to put them in the pots that we put them in.
They're
so
so
we're not
big,
sure if they're going to have enough root space and stuff to grow healthy.
I know.
Even this next year, throughout this next year. So we'll see. Chances are, no.
I think we'll probably move them.
We might have. We'll pot them up. We'll upgrade them. Those smaller ones. We can upgrade those to newer, bigger pots.
Well, and to give you just a quick backstory, if you're like, what are you talking about? We made a video last week where we took a lot of our spring planted bulbs and we actually potted them up just to get them started, and we plan on transplanting all of them probably by the end of this month. And the reason for that is our whole landscape's under kind of construction right now. We're building a lot of new spaces and we have plans for those, but we didn't want to wait until the end of May to then plant. Because then they'll be a month or so behind and we don't want to wait.
And that could bring up, and it could bring up a couple of issues later on where they might not have enough time to flower and fully develop if we plant them that late. So we're just kind of trying to keep them in step with natural things going on with, Sunday, the day length with the sun and the temperatures and just everything else going on. So
definitely, and we'll have some videos coming up. We saved about half of our elephant ear bulbs to make a planting video because we definitely want to highlight that because we've had a lot of questions about how to plant them, what are you going to do with them. So that's coming probably pretty soon.
Pretty soon. Hopefully.
So we'll stay tuned for that. So yeah, that was the backstory though. So we have a bunch of bulbs in our greenhouse right now in all these containers. They take up a lot of space.
Not a lot of walking space in the greenhouse
it's kind
right
of
now.
Yeah, it's a little cluttered, but we're happy to have it. You know, we're just
totally. We're excited.
We're very excited to try that.
Yeah,
so,
it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, great question.
Great
Dana.
questions, you guys. And Dana mentioned she's trying both ways as well, and she wasn't sure how they would do. So yeah, Dana, I love that. Just kind of experiment a little bit, right?
As a gardener, you should. You should push the envelope, see what you can do in your own garden, what is available to you, and then just keep rolling forward. And you know, some things aren't going to work out. Some things aren't going to go especially the way you thought they were, and but other things will. And it's fun. You know, that's part of life. Just keep rolling along and figure it out. It's fun.
Oh, that is fun.
Yeah.
So, okay, we're moving on to the main topic now. We're talking about ornamental grasses.
Ornamental grasses, yay!
So, yay! So we thought we'd talk and start with kind of like what are ornamental grasses? Like kind of just a straight up definition, I guess, right? Just kind of I don't know, maybe not a definition, but just kind of what are they? What distinguishes them from other plants?
Yeah.
And then moving on to types. And we've got the types kind of categorized by size. I think you explained that already, Sean. Mm-hmm. So we're thinking, you know, really tall ornamental grasses, like 5
feet or above.
5 feet or above.
Which, yeah, there's some. You might surprise you how many there are out there. I think we've got a couple examples today.
Yeah, we do, and there's probably many more that we didn't cover, but it's just kind of interesting to think like, how would you use like a 5 foot or taller ornamental grass, and what kind of care would be involved?
Which we're going to cover some of the care of. Well, we're going to cover the care of some examples today of 5 feet or more plants. The uses we're going to cover next week.
Yeah, uses and design and all the fun stuff, which we might venture into a little bit today, but we'll try to kind of separate them. So we've got tall grasses, we've got a medium kind of shrubby sized grass, which might be your 2 to 4 feet in height.
Maybe up to 5 feet.
Maybe up to 5?
Just below 5 feet.
Okay. And then we've got our third category would just be your small kind of like under 2 feet. You know, size.
Yeah, 2 feet down to like inches.
Like inches.
So there's some variety, and just to preempt you, there's going to be a lot more of the shrub size because
there really are.
I mean, that's for us. That's what we see in our climate a lot of the times. It's kind of a medium size of ornamental grass, but they're so versatile.
Really,
I mean, because even in that shrub size, that smaller shrub size, even. There's so many different kinds to choose from, and we're just going to skim the surface of what's actually available out there, especially online. Some of these we're going to show you today, you'll be able to buy them directly online and get them shipped to you. Yeah. Some of them you won't, but some of them you will.
Well, they're sold out of a lot of things, unfortunately, but we really did try to find things that you could find, and a lot of them are from Monrovia, actually.
Monrovia.
A couple proven winners. Some of them are just seeds. We weren't able to find any other options, but we highly encourage you, if you find anything you love and you want to find it, go talk to somebody at a local nursery. Maybe they can direct you to the right place, or often like Home Depot and Lowe's carry some of these things.
They do. Yep, they do. And if you're not sure at all about any of the grasses that might be available in your area, you can always email or call or even go to, if they're open, your local county extension agency.
Oh, that's a great idea.
They research these things. They know your zone, and they can find specific plants for you. So definitely check them out.
That's a great suggestion. So let's get started with. Let's see. Should we just start up? What is an ornamental grass? Like, how would we separate that from other ornamental plants?
It's a great question because it's something we don't think about, right? It's
how do you define it?
What is an ornamental grass? Well, an ornamental grass it's a grass. Right? I mean, if you think about your lawn out in your yard, you might have lawn, you might not. But if you see lawn, even if you see it, and you don't have your own lawn, that's a grass. So what that is it's a crown. It's a growing crown of a plant with many stems coming out of it that are very narrow, and there's a lot more to it. But basically, broadleaf and then thin-leaved. Or what's called broadleaf would be like a geranium or a dusty miller or a daisy or something. That's kind of a broadleaf. These are narrow-leaved plants, the grasses are, and they have a distinct look to them They have a midrib going up, very narrow leaf going up, and that's pretty much it. They're green usually. The ones we're going to show you today, not so green, because they've been bred and they've been selected and they're super fun. But it's basically a narrow-leaved plant that grows from a crown that either spreads or mounds and stays contained only to a specific size. And it literally looks like a grass. If you think of grass like you mow out in your yard, it's pretty much that, except it doesn't take over a huge area like that, more than likely. It's a little bit different. And so, but they're fun and they flower, and you want them to flower.
The flowers are so pretty.
And they're very unique. And so even their blades of the grass that we're going to show you today, these ornamental grasses, they come in different colors. There's variegation and definitely sizes. And so we're gonna show you all those.
I think that's so fun too, because I mean it's like it's the opposite of the grass you have in your lawn almost, because you want it to grow, right?
And you want it to flower.
You want it to grow and
you
flower.
want it to go to seed, to flower, to seed.
And then there's beneficial things for the seed later on in the season where birds are attracted to it. So there's a lot of different options. Plus, I think the colors of the plumes or the flowers for these grasses, they come in everything from purple to pink to blue to black, maybe even kind of a dark black, dark purple almost, red. It's really, I mean, the sky's the limit. So
it's really cool, you guys.
It's fun to think about designing, but again, that's for next week.
Hopefully, that gives you a good example, a good explanation of what an ornamental grass is. And so should we get into it? Okay, let's get into it.
Let's start with tall.
Tall grasses, I think this
that's
is
kind of the smallest category that we came up with. There are other, again, we have a couple to show you, but there are so many more. So if you know of some that you maybe have, I know, there we go. If you, we're small on the screen now. If you know of some taller grasses that maybe you grow in your yard, let us know in the chat, because that might be something that we can, think about. Maybe add to the list here.
Yeah, you guys. Yeah, so tall grasses, 5 feet or taller. So we've got two examples here. One is the Hearty Pompous Grass, and we made a video actually about Pompous Grass, and it's a huge plant. It can get ginormous. This specific one, this Hearty one, doesn't get as big as the normal, or what is known as the general Pompous Grass out there. I've seen Pompous Grasses in the Seattle area, in my old job especially. They're like over 12 feet tall.
Oh my goodness.
And they're over 6 feet wide.
Now wait, is that just the leaf part, or is that the plume part that comes up that accounts for the height?
Well, most of the height when it flowers will be the plumes, but still without the plumes, I mean, the one I saw in Seattle that I had to actually maintain and work with, there was a couple at this location. They were at least probably 10 feet tall.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, just the leaves, the blades coming up out of it, they went up that tall. It was a huge plant. It was so old too. I mean, yeah, it was crazy. So I mean, they can get pretty big. This one gets up to about 5 feet from Monrovia, maybe a little bit taller, maybe about 5 or 6 feet. But it's hardy, and that means it'll grow in some other areas that the general Pompous Grass won't grow in. So we don't have all the specific information today about like zoning and stuff, but you can definitely go to monrovia.com and find this in there if you do a search under Hearty Pompous Grass. So, but this is a great example of that, and maintaining them, it's kind of easy, but it's a lot of work, because
I would think it'd be a lot of work.
It's easy from the standpoint that you only need to basically cut it back and maintain it, if you want to do that, once a year. But the work that goes into maintaining it can be a lot. And make sure with Pompous Grass, wear long sleeves and gloves.
It's sharp.
Yeah. The edges of those leaves, of the grass leaves, they'll cut you. They're very, very sharp. They're serrated, and they're very sturdy. So wear something long, protect all exposed surfaces of your body when you're in there.
Ankles too, or at least wear boots, because I can't tell you how many times I've been hauling debris and I just, you slash your...
And sometimes you don't even know it until you get home and you get cleaned up, and then once that water gets on you, it's just ow, 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 ow. It hurts. It really does. So it'll really cut you up if you're not careful. So anyway, so that's one.
And I can mention really quick. Well, maybe I'll wait, because that's on the next slide. There are different sizes of Pompous Grass. You kind of mentioned that already.
Yeah. Well, there's another one coming up that it's super cool, and yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. I know. I was like, ah. So another taller grass that we found. And this was cool because this was a suggestion from Instagram. We actually threw a question out on our story a few days ago, and we said, what are some of your favorite, ornamental grasses? And maiden grass came up, and we thought, oh, that's a fun one. And so we found a variety at Monrovia that they do have for sale. Sometimes Monrovia, like you can buy some of their plants on their website, but others you have to just find, right?
And they have a dealer or a nursery selector for location. It's up on the top part of the screen. And so you just got to look for that and go through the process of finding where they'll be available and where they're sold. If you can't find that on their website or nothing's available in your area according to their website, just call your local nursery and ask them if they have something like this, like a maiden grass or a hardy pampas grass, or even just pampas grass. And they'll be able to tell you if they have it in stock. The really helpful, really great nurseries that have a lot of good customer service, if they don't have it in stock, they'll know where to find it locally, or they'll help you find it and source it and order it. So a couple options there.
Yeah, that's great. I know. So these are two options to think about. Now, maiden grass, it looks a little bit different than the hardy pampas grass, but it does have those kind of feathery plumes on the top. So that looks like a pretty grass. I don't want to get too much into uses and design because, again, that's next week. But these would be great for, like, if you are looking for a big plant for privacy or something to fill a very large area that will continue to spread, right?
Yeah.
Because they're going to keep growing.
Especially pampas grass. Pampas grass is great for privacy and even as a noise blocker.
Yeah, that's true.
It'll actually block a lot of noise if you put it in on like a row and let it just grow up and grow together in a row. It's a great noise blocker. Plus, most animals and even people aren't going to want to go through it more than once because it will cut them.
Yeah.
If they're not protected, it'll slice them up.
Adds that little bit of privacy,
a little bit of security
you might want, and security.
So great, two great options for you right there. And so,
Okay, let's move on to the medium size, because this is the size we're all probably a lot more familiar with. There's a lot of options here for you, and it really depends on your colors, what you're looking for.
Sorry, guys.
We're moving our little screen around here. But okay, so we have an assortment of kind of like plants that you can find at either Monrovia, maybe Proven Winners, and also seeds. And we have a few that we're growing off the screen that you probably can't see here, but we're going to show you. So this is fun. So medium height grasses, we kind of group these into about 2 to 4 feet tall. We went with height as our criteria.
Yeah, and this helps us spatially figure where can we put it, what is it going to look good with, which we're going to go over next week.
Yeah, I know.
So I mean, putting that height parameter on it really helps us, and hopefully you too think about these plants from that aspect.
I know. And again, let us know if you have any of these, if you're growing them, or if you want to know more about them.
Totally.
So we have a list on the left side there. You can see there's 8 different medium height grasses, and again, there's so many more.
You guys.
But so we'll just kind of read those out really quick. We've got electric pink cordyline. Now, cordyline's a cool one. We have a lot of cordyline in our yard, different types. Not the electric pink, but we have other varieties.
Yeah, and something to think about. All of these plants are true grasses, except the cordylines, because it doesn't grow from a mat with multiple stems coming up. It grows with one stem that goes up, and it can turn into a tree. We've got multiple examples of that around
they almost look
our
like
garden.
Trees.
Yeah, they literally grow into a tree if you let them, and if they're genetically adapted to do that. Some will stay a little bit shorter than others. Some might just stay into a shrub. Others will grow straight up. We've got a couple examples that are literally growing straight up, and we're training them as trees.
That's so cool.
It just depends on which one. Yeah, so when you're looking at a cordyline, make sure to understand that if you want to multiply it, you're not going to be able to divide it.
Oh, right.
It grows off a single stem. So there's a different way to do that, and we probably won't go over that today, but most grasses, what you can do is they get to a certain age, 2, 3, 5 years old, you can literally cut them in half with a shovel, go straight down into them, divide that crown, that growing area between the roots and shoots where you see the green coming up, divide that, and now you've got 2 plants. Most grasses will take that type of division, that type of propagation. Cordylines, that's not how it happens.
Doesn't work that way.
So anyway.
That's good.
So I just want to make that distinction.
We've had some questions about that lately, about cordyline and dividing.
And it looks like when it's young, it does look like it looks like a grass, right? It's got that narrow leaf. It's got, they come out, they fountain out like a lot of other grasses do, but it's not the same. And
often cordyline is usually known as a false dracaena. That's another name that you might see it sold as. So just in case you're looking for that. But beautiful plants, really add a lot of texture and just interest to your garden.
So a couple of you out there have already heard us talk about these guys.
Oh, yeah, we have them here.
A couple weeks ago. We did talk about some different plants on a live, I think, and I think these were part of it. It was the bunny tail grasses. They actually, so it's a grass. It is a true grass. It grows up. It has all those little blades of leaves of grass coming up. But then when it flowers, its inflorescence looks like its flower looks like little bunny tails. They literally look like little fluffy bunny tails when they come up, and it comes up with a lot of them. Usually it should.
I'm really excited.
Nice and healthy.
We've got a bunch of them. We really need to get these transplanted. The roots are coming out.
Oh, yeah.
But we just grew these from seed this year, and you can see they grow so fast.
Yep. Now we got
these. You
these.
guys see that?
Yeah. There you
no bunny tails to see yet. They haven't bloomed yet.
No, they're not old enough yet. They're not there yet. But we got these from Botanical Interests.
Yes.
And you can go to botanicalinterest.com. They only sell the seeds, unfortunately, but you can't get the live plant from them. And we looked around online real quick, and we couldn't find it in other places.
That's right. That reminds me, we found there's a red bunny tail grass that I think would be gorgeous in the landscape.
Oh,
and
that would be
I believe
beautiful.
we found it
my gosh.
on one of the retailers, and they're sold out, unfortunately. But if you want the bunny tail look, but in a red, I mean, the whole plant is red.
Oh,
and then the little bunny tail at the top kind of glows in this red, especially if you get like a cool, sun, you get behind the sun or whatnot.
Oh, yeah, I can't. Now we need one.
So question, we've got some great comments here. We want to jump on these.
Okay, let's do it.
So lots of stuff coming in. Okay, so Delphina planted, this is so cool. Delphina planted deer grass, blue fescue.
Awesome. Love blue fescue.
New Zealand flax.
Sweet.
And Eaton Canyon grass. I'm not familiar with that one. Eaton Canyon grass.
Cool.
And recently added pink muley grass for some texture in a pollinator garden.
Ooh,
oh,
sweet.
That sounds so cool. Good for you.
Yeah. That's
Cannot
great.
wait to hear how. Now, pink muley grass is on our list at the bottom.
Yes.
You can see here.
Yes.
That is like, I really want to find that now. I'm kind of obsessed with it. Every week it's something, right? This week it's pink muley grass. But Delphina, we'd love to hear more about that and how they're growing.
Yeah, and did you group them all together, or did you spread them out throughout your garden?
Yeah, it sounds like most of them are in a front yard.
Front yard.
And then recently added another one to a pollinator garden. So yeah, maybe that doesn't answer that question. Yeah. Very cool, you guys.
Right on. Woohoo.
Wow. Jay Harrison has 2 firework fountain grasses. Awesome.
Wow, those sound great.
Those sound really cool. I'm assuming kind of just that pop of like kind of bright red.
It's like a firework going off.
I think I've seen those before.
Sounds
those
like
are really beautiful.
Awesome.
Woo-hoo. And purple millet grass seeds to plant. Now that's on our list here.
Millet grass, purple millet.
Purple millet is a really, really cool one. That's kind of I think my second favorite obsession from this week. Pink muley grass being the first. The purple millet looks cool. It's got a beautiful deep purple color, and if you let them go to seed, which normally you would because you're growing it for those.
Yeah, you want to see those.
You want to see that.
Yeah.
Birds are attracted to that. So I like that idea of adding that to a pollinator garden.
Yeah, me too. That'd be fun.
Plus it would add some late season interest and color.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, we should back up a little bit, guys.
That.
A lot of these, they flower from either spring into fall or summer into fall. And then there's a couple differences. A couple of them will bloom even past fall, maybe a little bit into winter too. So depending on which one we're talking about here. So yeah, but you can see up on the screen each one of these pictures that we have up here. We've also included where you can go to find out more about each one of these plants. So yeah, the Grama Grass. I mean, we're growing the Grama Grass.
Grama Grass, we've got, if I can reach over.
Here, maybe
Okay. Yeah. We've got a pot of Grama Grass. We actually started this last year, and it is awesome. It flowered last year. We didn't put it out in the garden yet because we knew we were going to be changing a lot of landscape in our yard.
Yep.
We're under construction, so we've got these in the pots right now, and they all came back and they look beautiful.
Yeah, and this one we need to deadhead these bigger ones right here.
We
this is last year's growth. And so,
I just love looking at them.
You want to keep talking though?
Oh, Sean's going to get to it. All right. Sean's
going
to deadhead these while we go.
Kind of bothering me.
So we have 2 pots of this ready to plant, and they're, I don't know if we've even counted. There's at least 5 or 6 clumps of plants within here. And our idea is to take the blue Grama Grass and spread it around kind of add some texture into a pollinator garden or some other areas. So we're pretty excited to get this out. So I'm wondering, have you guys ever grown this before? There's different, we fell in love with what's called Blonde Ambition Grama Grass. And that's what kind of led us to this blue Grama Grass. And again, we got this from botanical interest and grew it from seed last year. So this is year 2, 1 full year, I guess, of this growth. And we're very pleased with it so far.
We really are. You know, guys, and you can go through it and you can basically deadhead something like this in the same way I'm doing. I'm kind of giving it a little bit of a haircut. It's a selective haircut with these hand pruners.
My tea out of the way.
I know. Don't get in the tea.
Getting a little crazy.
But you can also come in, you can kind of try and tug on some of these. They'll come out. Now, these are dead. That's why I'm cutting them and removing them. It's last year's growth. What some people will do is they'll just give it a complete haircut with just, you know, head shears. But they cut some of the new growth too. And we don't want to really do that. We want to let that keep growing, obviously. So what we're going to do is we're just going to keep selectively coming in here and doing this.
Okay, while Sean does that, you guys, thank you so much for chiming in. I feel behind here. So we had a great question. Good morning, Sharon LaFay. Hi there. Sorry we're a little behind getting to you. Great question about bunny tails. Do they need sun or shade? So they're kind of a full sun to partial shade. So we're going to kind of plant accordingly. So they can take full sun, but they actually can take a little bit of partial shade. Yep. So that's kind of cool because then you have a little bit more variety. And that's one thing that we were drawn to that plant because we need some kind of more partial shade. We have a very limited full sun space.
In our backyard.
Yeah,
not
definitely
not in our front yard.
Not in the front. But we're always looking for those plants that kind of will, you know, fit those parameters. So bunny tails will be a good option if you have kind of a partial to full sun area.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of these grasses, they are full or part sun. So
I love that.
Yeah, there's a lot of you have a lot of options with these. You can use them in a lot of different garden situations. So
yeah,
really
that's
cool.
really cool. Okay, so what else we have? Should we put us back full screen?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Mark. Good morning to Mark Pando. Thank you for joining us.
Morning, Mark.
Mark has mentioned that he has planted over a dozen different grasses. That's super cool.
Wow, cool.
Including pink muley grass, blue fescue, which I love blue fescue. That's one I'd like to add
We've
as well.
got a native one here in Washington.
There's oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
A carex, a feather reed, and a Pompous Grass.
Fun.
And on, he states. And then he said, I'm not into the Proven Winners tut grasses, though. I'm not sure I remember which one that is.
Yeah,
but
me either.
Yeah, maybe that's not, was it because maybe did it not grow to the size you wanted, or is it just the way it looks? Yeah. So I'd be curious to hear a little more about that.
Yeah, totally.
Love to hear a little review on that.
Cool.
So thank you, Mark. Cool. Let's see. Oh, Dana just scored the Proven Winners Fiber Optic Grass yesterday. That's
lucky.
On our next slide.
Oh, man.
That's a cool looking plant.
It is a great plant.
I think that'd be beautiful in a container.
It's so unique.
Yeah, it's very unique
When I first saw that, Dana, I thought instantly like it's somebody with dreadlocks. It looks just from afar, it just looks so unique.
It looks like fiber optics.
Well, I mean, you get up close to it, yeah, it's just like, yeah, I could totally see fiber optics.
I think that's really awesome. Cool. It's a really cool looking plant. So that's awesome. You'll have to let us know how that's going. Totally. Connie Graham, good morning. I don't know if we've said hi to you yet. Thank you for being here. Yeah. Connie started something called Frosted Explosion Grass. Wow.
That sounds great.
That was from Botanical Interest. I'm going to have to look that up. Frosted Explosion. She said it germinated really well and hoping to put really these light airy grasses around her darker cannas.
Ooh,
so that sounds like a fun design idea.
Yeah, totally.
I love that. Woo-hoo. So great, you guys. These are such fun. We love hearing from you guys and hearing what you're growing. And Delphina, I think you mentioned you'd send us some pictures, so please do. We'd love to see it. Anybody else, if you want to send us some photos, Sean and Allison at spokengarden.com. And as we mentioned last week, and Dana Hoover mentioned the week before and suggested, send us your photos so we can share them with you the following week.
Yep, because we've got a couple of people, including I think Dana, emailed us this past week some plants, some garden going-ons for them, and so we're going to show you those coming up here in a little bit.
That's just that makes our day to find those emails. Like, it's so fun.
We want to showcase what you guys are doing too. It shouldn't just be all about what's going on in our garden. I mean, we're all in this together. We want to know what's going on in your garden. So yeah, just send us any flowering plants or even the foliage and what's going on. Are you doing a project? Did you just put in a whole bunch of new like zinnias? I think was it Sharon?
I think that was Kim Matlock.
That was Kim Matlock. Yes, Kim the other week sent us picture.
Beautiful.
She has a whole like zinnia garden. We're so jealous.
So beautiful.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, definitely send us some photos.
Yeah, totally.
So we'll get to that in just a minute, but we should probably, we still have one more slide.
Oh, one more slide.
We get off topic, but here again, not bunny tails. These were the blue Grama Grass.
Blue Grama Grass.
So we got through the medium-sized plants, which a lot of you have some experience with, and that's fun. We have a lot of grasses around our yard. A lot of the cordylines, which again, kind of not really a true grass, but we have some unidentified grasses that we planted and then we lost the information. We could probably figure out what they are, but we have some other things. But I'm loving some of these ideas.
Yeah. So the grasses Allison's mentioning, we planted those actually March 2020. It was one of our first. Yeah. It was like the video number 9 or something of our quarantine gardeners videos. And we planted them in our backyard, and we did a time lapse with them and stuff. So if you want to check those out, go watch that video. Yeah, I think it was quarantine day number 9 or something. Or
that's how we started our whole YouTube channel.
Yeah, it was one of the earlier ones. So yeah, so you can see that.
So those are pretty cool. So now we're down to the short grasses, which I think this is a really cool option because there's so many options with design with these kinds of plants. So a lot of the plants on this list, some of you already are growing, so that is super cool.
Yeah, you mentioned some of them. Yeah, like fiber optics.
Yeah. So should we
go ahead? Yeah.
Go ahead and roll down the list there. So we've got a specific one called an Elijah Blue Fescue, and that was again Monrovia. Now the picture is right below our little screen here. You can see they're just tiny. They're inches. I think they get up to maybe 12 or so inches tall and wide. They're just cute little compact.
Yep, and you know, guys, yeah, they're beautiful, and we actually have, like I told you before, we have some blue fescue that are actually native to Washington State, and they're just amazing little plants. They're super easy to take care of. A lot of your blue fescues are going to be drought tolerant once they're established. So you get them established after that first or second year of planting them and making sure they get enough water and stuff. So, but they're beautiful little plants, and they're clumpers. They're not spreaders, and I don't think we talked about this yet. For grasses, there's kind of two kinds overall. There's grasses that once you plant them, they literally spread out and keep growing in big mats. And then there's other grasses that are clumpers, mounders. They just kind of stay in one area. And these blue fescues are definitely a clumper, a mounder, and they are just cool little plants. I mean, they're just, if you let them go, if you just let them grow, they're just these little balls of blue. I mean, you can see them right there. They're just beautiful, spiky little grasses that add so much texture and color and uniqueness to your garden.
Yes.
It's really cool.
They really do.
Yeah. So is something going on in the...
I'm just kind of commenting
here.
Oh,
okay.
Trying to keep up.
Just want to... Yeah. So I know the chats are exciting.
I know the chats.
You guys chatting is exciting.
I know. I'm excited about those red bunny tails too, Jay Harrison. I want to look for those. They're one of those. You know, when you find something that it's like it becomes that challenge to find it. That's you know, especially if it's sold out everywhere, it becomes kind of like I don't know, kind of a little extra.
It's like a treasure hunt.
Treasure hunt.
Yeah.
It's kind of how I was with my the Egyptian lavender that we finally found. I've been looking for that for a while, and the fern leaf lavender, if you're not familiar with that, not an ornamental grass.
Yep.
But for me, that was a challenge to find, and I finally found it.
She's very happy about it.
I was very happy.
Can you tell? Okay.
I still am. Okay, back to the grasses. So, okay, number 2 on the list, Mondo grasses, which come in really awesome colors. And this one's an Ebony Mondo grass. Yep. And I believe this was also Ebony Night.
Ebony Night.
From Monrovia.
Yep, that's specifically, that's a cultivar, and it's trademarked. There's also just a regular black Mondo grass out there that's been out there for a lot of years.
Those are beautiful.
If you're not familiar with Mondo grass, it's a grass. Obviously, we're talking about it, but it's a mounder. It only gets about 2 feet tall-ish. And
I like that.
There's a bright green, just regular Mondo grass. I think there's a couple of variegated varieties that have more of a yellow or a white type of variegation coloring to their leaves. But there's the green, the bright green, there's a little bit darker green, there's this black, this very like dark black.
Purple,
yeah, it really is. And they're just beautiful, and they're used in a lot of different ways, and we'll go over that. I just caught myself. I was almost going to talk about that.
I know. I keep kind of venturing into design. It's hard to separate.
It is, because I haven't told Allison about this, but I actually planted these on a very old landscape job that I had for a homeowners association, and it was fun. It was great to use them in this way, and we can talk about that next week.
That'd be fun. I know.
So yeah, awesome.
I might be adding that to my secret list now too.
And they are very easy to take care of. Most of these grasses in general, very easy to take care of once you get them established. A lot of them are drought tolerant. So this is definitely one of them that's easy to take care of.
And that's great for all of us that are busy and we need something
I want to know more about this zebra plant.
I know, so
zebra
we've got,
grass.
number 3 is a dwarf zebra grass, because there's a regular size zebra grass that gets a lot larger. This is a dwarf one, so it's going to be under 2 feet. It's very, it's a very compact. So we've got a picture of it, and I'm sorry it wasn't really the best picture. If you're not familiar with this, it's this beautiful variegated leaf kind of look. And it's just, it looks gorgeous.
We looked for other pictures and we found a couple, but we couldn't put them on here because we just didn't have a lot of space on the slide because we have all this other stuff on here. So, but basically, if you see the plant out in the landscape and you see it from afar, it reminds you of seeing a zebra with those stripes, with those lines. It's a beautiful plant.
I think that's a cool option. I wonder, do any of you grow a zebra grass?
Yeah.
Or are you
guys
familiar
have it
with
in your
that?
garden? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty one. So next up, fiber optic grass, which we were talking about a minute ago, and Dana mentioned she just scored some from Proven Winners because they are selling that online. So that is such a cool, and let's see, we've got a picture in a container that did come from Proven Winners.
It looks kind of wiry.
It's kind of a, it's just a cool, interesting looking plant.
Yeah.
And I mean, they have it with a lot of their container pictures, different design, but you could put it in the landscape. So that'd be a fun one.
Oh yeah, they're beautiful little plants. Gorgeous. So
we're on number 5.
Yeah, number 5, Nacella mexican.
Oh, Mexican, those are gorgeous.
Yeah, so Mexican feathergrass.
I just love those.
Yeah, it literally looks like little feathers. It's so, it's feathery. That's a great adjective to use for it. Great description. And this is a specific kind, Mexican feathergrass. It only grows, it's a kind of a shorter one. It's from Monrovia. Beautiful plant. Can you imagine this out in our garden?
I think it's gorgeous.
In the wind.
I'm already adding it to our list too.
It's so wispy looking.
It'd be great for a sensory garden, or just for that visual,
sensory,
just
definitely.
any kind of interest in the garden.
I can see us out there just running our hand across it.
I would definitely be
oh man.
So that's a fun one. And a lot of you might already grow that. And then number 6, standing ovation little blue stem. This is a really gorgeous little plant. Again, it's in our small category, so it's going to be under 2 feet.
Yep.
I believe this one was found, we found this at Spring Hill Nursery, and they do have it currently for sale. There were some other sites, I think it was for sale, you guys. I mean, they're selling out of it. Yeah. So some of the other places I think were sold out. Yeah. I think there was maybe a Monrovia option, but they were.
Yeah.
I might be making
Everybody's getting low on inventory right now because it's spring and people are buying things like crazy. So
but little blue stem is cool because it's kind of like a multi-season interest. I mean, a lot of grasses are, right? But this has like a beautiful color that just 3-season color almost to it. So
yeah, and guys, a lot of these grasses they do change color. They'll have that bright green come out in the spring or whatever color they're known for. But then some of them will change color over the season and into the fall, and they'll turn a bright red or burgundy or even an orange because of the fall and the cooler temperatures. I mean, they have that, they've adapted this way, they have that built in, and they've been bred for this. So definitely check out all the characteristics when you go look at either Monrovia or Proven Winners, Spring Hill Nursery, or even Botanical Interest. Check out those characteristics because there's some really unique grasses out there.
There are some unique grasses, and it depends too if you're kind of like, I want the plant now, finding it in plant form is always nice because then it's already, you can put it right in your garden and have kind of instant gratification out of that. Growing from seed is a little bit longer process, as we all know, and it kind of allows you to get to know the plant a little better and
really
kind of
does.
watch it, nurture it, and it might take a little longer to really get to the size you want. Like, for example, our blue Grama Grasses we've shown you here, we really want to get these in the landscape. Again, it's taken a year to get to this point, and they're all doing very well.
Yeah, they're very healthy. You guys can't see it, and we can't really show you with the camera setup we have today, but there's little clumps of these in here. This is made up of multiple plants. This isn't just one plant. This is Grama Grass. And you saw me basically go through and deadhead it and trim it back from last year's growth. It flowered last year. There were little flowers that I just took off from last year here, and yeah, there's one right there. It's barely with us because it's been out and been in the wind and stuff.
They look like little eyelashes. They're beautiful.
Can you see that right there?
There we go. Just these little delicate looking.
Yeah, there
really
you go.
Pretty.
There you go. Behind my hand there, or front of my hand.
I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, but anyway, so I mean, some of them will flower in the first year, some of them won't. It just depends on how healthy they are and the specific grass itself. So it's really cool though. I mean, the grasses are so awesome and so unique.
I know, it's really cool. Connie had a question. How tall does the fiber optic grass get?
Good question.
I believe it's about a foot. I think at maturity it's only about 12 inches, so it's a smaller one.
I might be able to look here.
So that would be a great option if that's the size you need. Plus, that's probably why it makes a great container plant, right? It's not going to overtake something like a New Zealand flaxwood or one of your larger like grasses. But yeah, so that would be a really fun one to add. And again, I believe I think Proven Winners has it right now, and I don't know if it's anywhere else. I've never seen it at any of the box stores, but you could probably ask
from
our nursery.
From our notes, we've got here, Connie, 10 to 14 inches tall and wide.
Perfect. Yep.
So yeah,
so just around a foot, maybe a little over a foot.
And it's zone 8. It'll grow in zones 8 to 10. So yeah. If you guys want the culture information for these specific plants, we'll put the links for them specifically in the description of this video. But if you want some more information, or you want us to email it to you, just let us know. Sean and Allison at spokengarden.com. We'll zip it off to you, no problem. So yeah. So are we in focus?
We are not in focus.
We're not in focus.
So here we go again.
It's a focus hazard. It's a crisis. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I've been told to not do that anymore. Okay. So okay. Now we're in focus.
We will get this fixed. This is not fun. Okay, so moving on, you guys, because I know a lot of you have been here for a while, and we're so thankful that you've been able to join us this morning.
Guys, this has been fun.
This has been fun. We hope you guys are having a great Saturday so far, and we'd love to hear what your garden plans are. Let's see, we've got a slide of some audience photos.
Yes.
Let's pull that up.
So here we go.
So we've got some great, pretty cool things going on.
So what's growing in the audience? Well, Dana Hoover and Josie Scott sent us some pictures. And so we wanted to showcase those today. Dana, thank you for sending these, by the way, Dana and Josie. These are awesome. So Dana's got some elephant ear bulbs that she's getting going there. They're sprouting. You can see inside those pots. They're starting to break through and starting to grow.
Look at that. Those bulbs are so big.
Really cool.
Really cool.
Yeah, and if you guys, elephant ears are so cool anyway. They're just a beautiful, beautiful bulb. And they're known for their foliage, not specifically for any flowering. So if you didn't know that, that's what their main use is in the landscape. It's more of their foliage and how beautiful and how much they add to the landscape with that.
Yeah, definitely.
So, also Josie Scott, thank you for sending these in, Josie. So she's got some, looks like some...
Are those anemone blonda?
I think those... I don't know. I think it's anemones.
Yeah,
I think
the leaf looks like an anemone.
It does. Okay. Yeah, I know. At first I was like, "That's a daisy." No, it's not. We've got some anemones and we've got some tulips.
Yeah, those look beautiful.
Both of them look great, Josie. They look beautiful. Yeah, we've got some purplish anemones there and some wood chip, and then we've got some tulips coming up. All that foliage, and it looks like there might be other things coming up in that in and around those tulips too. I'm not sure exactly without looking more what those are. But beautiful.
Thank you guys for sending those.
Thanks,
and
you guys.
We highly encourage you to send us more pictures.
Awesome.
We definitely want to see your gardens so we can just ooh and ah over them.
We want to showcase your gardens to the rest of the audience out here.
I mean,
it's fun.
So definitely send those.
Yeah.
We've got just a couple slides of things going on in our garden just to share with you, just because it's fun to share that. And right now we're kind of coming into azalea and rhododendron kind of like season, I guess, in our yard.
Yep.
We have some beautiful things going on. Some of you already know my grandparents planted. We bought my grandparents' house years ago, and they had been the only owners here. So everything in the yard that we haven't added were added by them probably 50 plus years ago.
Oh yeah, a long time ago.
So we have across the whole top there, we've got, those are all really old mature plants that were planted by my grandparents, and also on the bottom left.
So up top we've got 2 rhododendrons from left to right. The far left is just a beautiful pinkish white rhododendron with that. Do I call it a face or a throat? I mean, on Rhodey's, I'm not sure, but it's just beautiful, that bright red in the center, more the center of that flower. And then there's that pinkish colored upper center picture right there. Then on the far right top is an azalea. That's one of the azaleas in our garden. It's beautiful. Then in the lower corner, lower left-hand corner, it's a picture showcasing some pink azaleas that have been flowering. They start kind of in one part of the whole azalea. There's a couple different azaleas there. They start from one area and it just progresses around in kind of a semicircle to the other plants as the day length increases and the sun angle changes, and that part of those plants get more light than they've had over the year. It's a progression of bloom, and it's just beautiful to see. Now in the lower center there's forget-me-nots, which actually are starting to bloom right now, and we had those in a seed packet that we got from Eden Brothers a couple years ago now, and they just keep coming back. They keep self-seeding, and we're so happy to see those because it's just these little blue, delicate little flowers out there in our garden. And then, of course, on the lower right-hand side, we've got Spanish bluebells, and they look beautiful this time of year. They're in full bloom. It's a bulb, if you didn't know, and a spring flowering bulb. And some people consider these a little invasive.
Yes, they do spread.
And so, yeah, they do spread, you guys. So keep that in mind if you want these in your garden. So, but that's fun. It's so fun to share this with you guys. So, oops, hopefully.
We're all over. Okay.
Clicking too many buttons. But yeah, hopefully that was fun for you guys. It's always fun for us to show you guys what's going on in our yard.
I know.
So, yeah.
It's always fun just to see what's in bloom, all the pretty colors. And
yeah. So, okay, so let's do our video roundup
now. Just a really quick video roundup. We actually, now most of you know we've kind of changed our video schedule just a tiny bit. So we were doing everyday daily videos for 365 days. Woohoo! We've kind of pulled that back since we hit that goal.
Met our goal.
We met our goal of a full year. And so now we do kind of an every other day filming schedule. So this week we added in an extra one.
Yep.
But we did waking up summer bulbs for earlier flowering. And that was a video we talked about earlier where we kind of potted up some of our summer bulbs just to get them going. And we're kind of just keeping them in our greenhouse right now.
Yeah, and then we did Monday short, which drilling holes in plastic containers. This might be a no duh for some of you guys out there and other new gardeners. You might not know that you need to put drain holes in your plastic containers for your container plants. So we went over that really quick in that short on that Monday.
Yeah.
And then on Wednesday we pruned our spirea, and we talked about why we were doing it and why it's okay. It was it's okay to prune on plants that are already done or almost done flowering for the year. And so we went over all of that in that video.
And then we threw in an extra short because we thought that would be helpful for some people about how to deadhead tulips.
Very timely.
And talked about that. And then the next day we did our Friday plant chat all about tulips.
Woo-hoo.
Tulip plant chat. So every Friday we roll that out.
Tulip mania.
So yeah, tulip mania, flower mania, garden mania. Hopefully you've got some fun garden projects coming your way this weekend and just ready to dig in and just get out there and just create new things.
Yep. Plant enablers unite.
Plant enablers unite. I know there's probably some of us that are going to be looking online for some of these grasses that we've talked about today. I've got a few in mind. So we'll have to keep each other updated on how things are doing in your garden, and especially I love Delphina. If you're still listening, I'd love to hear about your pink muley grass because I'm really interested in growing that here.
No, me too.
That is a gorgeous, gorgeous plant.
It really is.
I really like the way that looks in the garden. So you guys, I think with that, we are gonna call it a day.
Yeah, we kind of keep going further and further past 10 o'clock,
guys.
And it's fun. Don't get us wrong, but we don't want to. This is what we scheduled for you guys, for us, and so that's why we keep talking about it a little bit. That we went over a little bit, but it's fun. This is so fun. We kind of get into it a little bit, and we lose ourselves in all these different topics.
An hour and a half goes by like nothing.
Oh, yeah.
You guys, thank you for staying with us and listening, and just for being here. And we're so thankful that you guys join us every Saturday. We love talking to you guys.
Love hearing about all your stuff going on in your gardens, what you're up to. It's fun to share all this.
Really fun. So have a great week ahead in your garden. And the first day of May, happy May to you.
Yep. Have a great weekend too.
Great weekend.
Good luck with all your projects.
I know. We can't wait to see you here next Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for our Saturday morning garden chat.
Woohoo! For part 2 of grasses use and design.
Yay!
So,
you guys have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend, guys.
Soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.